Hey guys, Naya here. Welcome to the first episode of my playthroughs of dungeons in Albion Online. I have decided to show you from start how the random dungeons in the game work and how they can be completed. I will also introduce you to the items and enemy mechanics, perhaps even some grouping insights. So please sit back, watch and let me know if you have enjoyed the video. We are now in the city of Swampcross and are going to craft ourselves a nice set of novice armor of all kinds. Let's get up to the crafting. Oh, and I almost forgot. We also have a bag and a cloak to craft. Here, Novice's bag and Novice's cape. This is all we will be using. Let's go out and find our first dungeon that we will. Here we have found our first dungeon. For this one I am going to use the soldier armor. The helmet grants us additional defense and a skill to reduce the damage we are taking by improving our defense further. The chest piece and the soldier armor provides high defense and is low on offense. It also provides us with additional defense and a buff that we reduce the health of our enemies. There are two possible spells, one which is regenerating our health and one which is improving our damage done in a battle. I will choose the second one. The boots add our maximum load, which is not helping in a battle right now, and we get a spell to start sprint and regenerate health. We also equip the shield. Shield is not giving any spells. It has just additional defense and regeneration, which is useful for tanks. Then we are going to use our broadsword, which has 3 abilities and 1 passive. We'll keep this one first passive, which deals physical damage every 4th normal attack. Then there are 3 slots for our spells, Q, W, E. For Q we have the Heroic Strike, which simply attacks our enemy, and we get a Heroic Charge. A Heroic Charge is a system for the swords, which increases your move speed and attack speed. And we can use them with our third ability. The second spell is a Heroic Cleave, which does the same as the Heroic Strike, just to multiple enemies, but is less powerful. Our W ability is Interrupt. It deals physical damage and increases our normal attack damage for each Heroic Charge for 5 seconds, and interrupts the target's spell casting. Our E ability is a Mighty Blow, that we will charge towards the targeted enemy, interrupt their spell casting, and increase our damage resistance. Plus it deals physical damage based on the amount of heroic charges, and it will use them all. Let's get inside. Alright, we are now in the Hidden Mines, which is a heretic dungeon. Dungeons are instances where we can fight mobs for fame and loot. There are two basic types of enemies. One which is normal mob, and we'll start going forward and attacking him. The second type of an enemy are bosses, which are considerably stronger. They also guard a chest, which provides better loot, and they are also stronger, which means they are dangerous. Alright, we'll go on and attack these 3 miners. Oh no, we have also attracted another mob called the Heretic Thief and his partner, the Heretic Poacher. Alright, this Poacher has an ability that shoots a stable arrow at us. It's not just his normal attack, but another magical arrow. Oh, it hit us and knocked us back. But they are all dead. We collect the silver and move on with the dungeon. Oh, we have lost our half of our HP. It will slowly regenerate outside of battle. Alright. The layout is fairly linear. We are basically following these railway tracks. But there are also mobs that we can skip on the sides. I've decided not to skip this party. There is a Heretic Firestarter and a Poacher. And there is a bad move from me. I have angered them and moved them away from the barrel. The barrel is there for me to use. The barrels can explode and deal damage to everything around it, so it will be easier for me to defeat this pack. What I will do instead is attack the barrel and then move out, let the mobs stay inside and kill them, get them killed by barrel. So I will silently move around and attack the barrel, and this indicator shows the radius, which killed the 2 enemies, but alerted the scavengers, so I will deal with these also. And the 3rd scavenger out here. This bouncer has a powerful blow attack, which I will try to interrupt now, but I was hit by another ability, which is not nice. Now he has a block ability that will reduce any damage that we will deal to him. Alright, we are a soldier and we can tank a few hits before going down. We have a increased defense. That means we can fight multiple monsters at the same time. Alright, sometimes we will encounter these shrines which grant us different buffs. This one reduces cooldown times and restores energy. Just what we need. Let's move on and try to hit this barrel and move out. Ah, yes, we have moved it. Hit it and we have easily defeated these heretics. There is a different type of an enemy. This Heretic Brawler uses other abilities like this area of effect, which will stun us, this directed clap, which would also stun us if we didn't avoid it. Alright, On the left side we can see a green glowing chest and another monster which is guarding it and has a orange circle below itself. This is a sign that it is boss guarding a chest. This boss is called Big Spencer and is basically a bigger version of the bad guy we have fought here. I want to make sure that no other monsters will attack us while we engage in combat with this big bad guy. So, he might be tough to fight. Let's engage.
Let's open a cannon for pass.
It is important that we dodge most of these abilities, as many as we can. Oh, we get stunned and slapped again, and half of our HP is gone, so it is best to avoid getting in danger. We can also use our R ability so that we can deal more damage when we take damage. Now, Big Spencer is out. He doesn't drop any other loot, but opens the chest, which contains beginner's bag of silver. It's not much, it's just 1000 silver. Here are heretic shooters, which will fire arrows from the crossbows rapidly at us, and we will try to avoid this damage. The fire starter is a mage or caster type and will fire powerful spells like this fire bomb, fire blast. We have encountered a Heretic Hermit, which is a healing type of monster, and got ourselves into some trouble because he has healed the enemy we were damaging, and that was bad. But we can sprint and rejuvenate some of the health while the enemy is slowed. And we were victorious. The Heretic Hermit will heal its closest ally. However, when it takes damage, it will stop. Now, this shrine is guarded by a bouncer and a hermit. If we attack the bouncer, he is tanky and has higher defense. Shield with it. However, the hermit could heal him, so we will try to focus the hermit first, so let him die, and then we will damage the bouncer because he does less damage and we can deal with him later. Let's try this strategy out. We avoid the big hit from the bouncer and try to counteract him. It is very tough to out-damage this healing elf, so I will try to hit the poacher first. Not the poacher, the hermit first. And we have attracted attention of this heretic cannoneer, which fires bullets at us. And And if we are hit by this bullet, we will get knocked back. Bam. But he's surrounded by 2 other enemies. So I will try to dodge the bullets, the arrows, and kill the fire starter first. Now, the cannoneer. Keep moving, keep moving. And the bullet blast. I'm used to moving around a bit, so that I will see and avoid all of the spells that these mobs throw at me. Okay, the next pack is Firestarter and Brawler. Which one is more dangerous? There's also second Firestarter that is Patrolling. We don't want to fight 3 mobs at once, so we wait until he leaves and we'll attack the Firestarter. Interrupt his spellcasting and move out so that the patrolling Firestarter won't see us. That was too fast. The brawlers are especially dangerous because if they hit multiple abilities, they will stun us for a long time and we will take a lot of damage. Now we can fight the Firestarter alone and move quickly on to the next one. I will try to put with the shooter first. Interrupt this spellcasting, leave, charge. He's dead. Well, that was easy. It was easy because I was already trained in the art of swords. It is also good to check your destiny board so that you have filled out your trainee fighter, which is fairly simple because it allows you to wear the armor that we created, and also the journeyman reaver node, so that your damage against the tier 3 creatures and defense is increased. Without it, this would be a tough fight.
What do you got?
Now, we have reached this wooden platform, which is engraved with fiery sign. This is a sign that a boss fight will follow. It will probably be the last boss of this dungeon. So let's get on. Oh. Right in the first dungeon we have a good boss fight. Okay. There is little space. No, there is actually enough space on this side. This purple chest is contains better loot than the green chest, so I expect there will be more silver or some items. The boss here is this Heretic Overseer, and let's check out what abilities he has, and how, in what ways can he damage us. I will do a mock-up fight in which I will leave and then return, so that he won't kill me, but I will get hit by his abilities. We can also see that the boss has a lot more health and can hurt us more because our health bar is going down faster. Okay, I was hit by his slash of whip and spinning whip, which dealt pretty solid damage. Now that we are low, we should try to leave the fight and try not to die. The fight will reset and I will wait for my health to go back to full. Alright, the second try will be more successful. I will not try to do more damage, but I will avoid the abilities that the Heretic Overseer will throw at me, so I know he has this whip slash in a direction I will avoid, and when he starts spinning I will run fast out of his way and then return back to the fight. I will also use my abilities of Fury and Stone Skin too early, so that when the cooldown of 40 seconds or 45 seconds expires, I can use them twice in the same battle. Okay, I have 3 stacks of Heretic Charge, and I have used the interrupt just to increase my damage. Now I have increased my damage via Rage, and will leave and rejuvenate. And return to him, and keep building the Heretic Charges. Now I will use it with 2. I can also use the defense skill, so I will get hurt less, and so many skills. Now, wait for the end to charge back, hit him hard, and keep the damage going. Now, that was a tough fight. We left standing with 250 health out of 1004. 5000 almost. Let's open the chest. It contains 3000 silver and a better helmet that we have. So, if you are able to equip this helmet, or there are two helmets, we can equip them and they have better spells. That's enough for the first dungeon. This last boss was quite tough. See you in the next dungeon. I will go with leather armor. Here I have found another entrance to a randomized solo dungeon. Now I will use the mercenary and bow items. The bow is a two-handed weapon which offers a passive which will slow with each attack, or if you are experienced enough you get 2 energy per attack. I will use the slow because I'm going to be alone, and the slow is handy. There are also 2 Q spells. The first one is multi-shot, which will release a volley of arrows in front of me and knock them back, which is quite useful. The other is deadly shot, which will deal damage, pierce to enemies, and decreases their damage resistances, which stacks. I will choose the multi-shot first. My W ability is called Explosive Arrows, which will enchant 10 arrows for my basic attacks, which deal additional magical damage in an area. It also works from arrows for spells, so this kind of arrows, yes. My E ability is Enchanted Quiver, which enchants 18 arrows, and they increase my physical normal attack damage so they're just buffing my straight up my damage output and attack speed, which stack up to 7 times. If I reach 7 stacks, each of my normal attacks will decrease damage resistances. So, improving damage in all 3 slots. Then we are going to use the Mercenary Hood, which increases my damage by 1.5% and defense by 0.99%. All leather armor gives a little bit of defense and a little bit of offense. The spell is Howl, which will create a sonic wave which deals damage, slows and decreases attack speed of enemies. The boots also increase maximum load and grant me a refreshing sprint, which increases my move speed for 3 seconds only and resets my cooldown. No, it makes them expire faster, so I can use my abilities earlier. And the mercenary armor, the jacket, also gives damage and healing and defense bonus, and offers the same Mind Wounds, which regenerates health, and an Inferno Shield, which buffs my resistances and reflects damage. I will use this one. Also, you can see that the physical attack bonus here is 24%, while at the soldier armor it was just 10. So I expect we are going to be dealing a lot more damage. But at the same time we will be much less durable, so we cannot take as many hits. Let's get in. Again, hidden mines. It looks similar, but it is randomized, so it will be a different dungeon, different layout every time. There is a Heretic Thief at this entrance, which I will knock back and just keep dealing damage for now. Alright. It's basically the same enemies, or types of enemies. Oh, I have drawn the attention of a thief and a shooter. Avoid the damage. This knockback will also interrupt spellcasting, so it's useful as a crowd control tool. Please notice that the shooter, unless damaged, doesn't start shooting the arrows. Only after I damaged him a bit, he starts with his spells. Okay, we are low now and need to take this shrine. Again, our cooldown times are reduced. It is useful in combat, but I would prefer healing. Let's use our abilities and deal with this fire starter quickly before he casts the flames. Also, knockback, and we can outrange this ability, so we don't have to run around the mob right now. Bow users should stay at range from the mobs because they are good at it, the first one, and it is also quite good to deal damage from range, so you cannot be hit by abilities so easily. Okay, there are 3 mobs. There is the Thief, the Hermit, and the Brawler. I will use more of my abilities to avoid their abilities and defeat them fast, quickly, and efficient. Alright, these two banners on the side indicate that I'm going into a boss fight right now. It doesn't have to be right now, but there is this room that will contain probably a boss. Let's kill the shooter first. Now, thief. Oh, here, next banner. So the boss is within this region of denoted by planks. Over there, it's the trapper. Which is a archer type, which we have seen before, but he's a bit stronger and he guards a blue chest. Let's make sure no other mobs will interfere. So, I will wait for my abilities to restore, and then I will take this fight. There is one thief, and one of this trapper, this ranger type of guy. Since the boss has a lot more health than the normal mob, I will kill the weaker one first, and then move on to the boss. The boss usually has the same abilities as the basic mob, so I expect this one to shoot some arrow at me and, well, what else? He can target a deadly shot on me. Okay, let's go. Start my abilities, my buffs, and start dealing damage. Back. Okay, there's this magical arrow. Oh, 5 arrows. No. It's very similar to my Q ability right now. Also notice that the middle arrow fired faster and the side arrows were slower, so I have a little bit more time to avoid. Also I can knock him back and interrupt the spellcasting. Open the chest, and there is one bag of silver. Not much of a loot, but let's keep going. I can also pop my running ability. And the Hermit. Okay, there are 2 brawlers. If they were to hit me by their abilities at the same time, I could go down pretty quickly. Once their abilities do a decent portion of damage. And the second point is that I will be stunned for a long time if they hit their abilities consecutively. So, avoid them, interrupt. Oh, there are 2 cannoneers. 3 cannoneers, that is nasty. Okay, let's try to avoid, play a game of dodgeball. This cannoneer. I will keep moving. Don't let them hit me. This bouncer is also noxious. Kill the cannoneer. Now, I'm getting good at this. if I were hit by any of the cannonballs, I would be knocked around and around and around and took a lot of damage. Sometimes I don't have to use abilities, just use my auto attacks and the mob will be dealt with. Since I'm wearing leather and not plate armor, I took a lot of more damage than I needed, than I would in plate armor. But that is okay, since I am also dealing damage much faster. Alright, it looks like we are going to a boss. I know this layout. That's the point. The randomized dungeons are random, but the elements of the map are always going to be somewhat similar. Okay, there's the boss room. There's the boss, it's the biggest roughneck. But there are also 3 other mobs. One of them is patrolling, this one, this brawler, and I have attacked him. Which I didn't want to do, because then all 3 of them are going after me. I want to isolate him, fight the one, then fight the 2, then fight the boss. He's also quite slow, plus he's slowed by my abilities, so he won't be much of a threat. Sometimes I can even outrun mobs. It's called kiting, and make sure they don't hit me ever. I don't have to stand in the same spot. So I took absolutely no damage. Now this boss guards a blue chest, which is the regular one for final bosses. He also has a much more differentiated boss circle around him with spikes. That means that he is the final boss of this dungeon. Well, the biggest roughneck is the same type of a mob that we saw at these 2. They're just bullies which will use their giant club to stun me, which will stun me when I stand close, and we'll see what other ability he has. Let's do a mock-up fight.
Let's open a can of whooping.
He also has this giant cleaver and throws rocks. Just stand outside the area. Again, rocks. I want to leave this place. See, I couldn't knock him back because he's a boss and is protected. Now uses this giant cleave that I avoided. It deals a lot of damage but can be outrun. And since I'm low on HP, I will leave and try again. Okay, this time I will try to do my best and defeat him. I will probably use all my abilities, my sprint, to run out from the rocks. Slowing will help a little. This reflected damage is useful, and also my bow skills are very good damage. Let's stack them up. I should be able to move around in the boss fight space freely without the risk of leaving the fight. I also have some time indicated. Okay, now when the boss is below 30%, we will enrage and attack faster and deal more damage. So I will try to finish him off quickly. And I hear the fanfares and the dungeon is complete. I can open the chest, which contains 2 bags of silver. Well, I'm in a blue zone, which means I'm not getting much of a reward. But this dungeon was successful. See you in the next one. For my 3rd dungeon run, I have moved to the snowy area of Gorge. It doesn't matter in which area you are, in which biome, rather, you are accessing the random dungeons, as the enemies will be the same. This time I'm going to use the Scholar's Robe, Scholar Armor, and Fire Staff. I will start with the Scholar Cowl. It increases my damage and healing by 3.5% and gives me a spell to send out a shockwave, knocking back our enemies and dealing a little bit of magical damage. Then I will use the Scholar Robe, which grants me even more damage and healing. As you can see, the damage bonus is now 48%. And grants me the spell of Frost Shield, which increases my damage resistances, reflects damage, and slows any enemy dealing damage to me. So I will be able to outrun them. And the boots, again, first of all they increase my maximum load and give me an energetic sprint, which increases my move speed and restores a little bit of energy. Then I'm going to use the Fire Staff, which has an auto attack which deals fire damage, 29 magical damage, and its passive is that each normal attack sets the targeted enemy on fire, dealing magical damage over time. The Q spell is again Firebolt, which deals damage and some more damage over time, and the damage over time stacks up to 5 times. This is a basic mechanic at the Fire Staffs. Then there is the Burning Field, which deals damage in an area in a 3-meter radius and also deals damage over time, but has a rather long cooldown of 4 seconds, while this one doesn't have any cooldown. I will also have to stand in order to cast this ability, and this one as well. This has cast time of half a second, 0.7 second. I will use the Firebolt first. The second ability is Ignite. It is instant and ignites the targeted enemy, dealing damage. Plus, if the enemy is below 40% health, my cast time and move speed will be increased. My E ability shoots a massive ball of fire, dealing damage and some more damage over time. The trick is It is basically the same as Firebolt, but it has a longer cast time and a longer cooldown, so I will not be able to use it so frequently. And I will also equip this Tomb of Spells, which will reduce my cast times and give me a bit more energy. Let's go in. I believe the tier 3 dungeons are all heretic dungeons, so I couldn't land anything else but hidden mines. Let's start attacking. I attack quite fast, but it doesn't do much damage. Much of the damage comes also from the damage over time effect. When I'm a mage and enemies come close to me, I have this force field to knock them back, knock them away and protect myself. I was only automatically attacking and I lost a half of health, which is pretty bad. I will have to use my abilities now. There's this Hermit. And I could also utilize these barrels. There are two Hermits which are healing each other. And I wanted to prevent it, so I dealt a lot of damage at once. There's one more barrel. And it missed, so I will have to kill this Hermit myself. Okay, I used my Q ability first, and when the enemy was low on health, I used my Ignite, so I grew purple and got the buff. That is how you know when you get a special effect. The health bar of the enemy is divided into 5 parts. If it goes below the fourth one, or only 2 are remaining, it is below 40% and this ability does its bonus effect. I could also use it first, but it will just do the damage, not buff my own abilities. If it kills the enemy, instantly it might not give the buff. Alright. There are a lot more enemies in the next room, which I will not be able to deal all at once, so I will pick my fight. And I will not wait, I will actually wait until the bouncer returns, and I will greet him with a giant ball of fire. Okay, I have been stunned by his ability. No, that was a pretty tough fight. I took a lot of damage. That is the disadvantage of the close armor. It gives a lot of damage, but less in armor and magic resistance. I can also calculate how much damage is each of my spells doing and how many of them I will have to cast. For example, this miner got 2 firebolts and 1 auto attack, and it was not enough, so it took a bit longer for me to recover. Let's kill the Hermit first. Now fire starter. And I can outrun Bouncer here, Brawler, while avoiding his abilities. Still, I took decent amount of damage. Again, there is a new boss, Heretic Pyromaniac, which is an upgraded version of the Firestarter. I'll make sure nothing interrupts me. Alright, I will not need much more space. Oh, there is actually one miner. The Pyromaniac has created a fire zone which deals damage when I enter it. And I will try to avoid it. Run around and damaging him. Increase my armor. And the fire zones keep burning. If I were in plate armor they could be also 4. But since I'm a damage dealer now, there were only 3. Not the wall, floor covered with fire. Oh, there are more guards. This Heretic Brawler. Sometimes there are more than just the boss guarding the chest, so I will have to kill them all. 1000 silver. Back to the normal mines. There are 2 miners and the hermit, which I avoided. He tried to walk to them, but missed, and it did not join my fight. Okay, I had a little pause. Let's continue with the hermit. I will use this shrine. This shrine will increase my damage and movement speed. This is a chance to clear the dungeon faster. See, I Pyroblast did a lot of damage to the bouncer, but I was also impatient and got hit by his ability. I needed only 2 spells to deal with the mob because of the increase I got from the shrine. But with the increased damage, I'm able to deal with the mobs quickly. Okay, we are going up and up and up, and there is a platform. Shrine has run out before I got to the boss here. The boss here is again Heretic Overseer. I think we have met him in the first dungeon. Yes, there is nothing else behind him. So let's just wait for our cooldowns. So the cooldowns are ready. Wait for our health and our energy. And I have already explained his abilities, tried them out in the first part of this video. So I'm just going to defeat the Overseer now. Oh, so he pulls the ranged users if they are too far from him. quicker in dealing the damage. But I succeeded. I avoided most of his abilities and took the least amount of damage. What's in the chest? Silver and Journeyman's Broadsword. So I can upgrade Journeyman's Helmet and the Journeyman's Broadsword. I think I will use them in my next run. Okay, that was the last boss of this dungeon. I hope you enjoyed the playthroughs, the runs of these 3 dungeons in all 3 novice sets, and I hope you learned a bit about dungeoneering in general. See you next time. I will be doing a better dungeon in Tier 3 equipment.